Hey everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to our continued series on Etherfields, where today we're going to start our playthrough. Now, as you noticed in the introduction, this is going to be a spoiler-filled playthrough. There's going to be a lot of things going on, and this is a very, very deep and involved game. So bear with me, because I know that as we go through it, I'm probably going to make some mistakes, but I hope you'll give me some corrections in the chat, in the notes, etc., and I appreciate that. However, this is going to be also a great storytelling game, and you know that I love great, deep storytelling games. Awakened Realms has done a fantastic job with that, and I hope they continue to make games that give you a great story and a great narrative like this one. That being said, this is not going to be a tutorial. Even though we're playing the tutorial, it's not going to be a tutorial. In other words, I'm not going to be teaching you how to play. I'm just going to be playing the game. And so don't look at this as instructional, though you will get a lot of instruction out of it. And please remember, again, this is going to be a completely spoiler-filled event. Right? There's nothing about it that's not going to have spoilers in it from the very start. Now, you may have already seen some other playthroughs that have given you some spoilers, and that's fine. But this one will follow a similar course, except I tried to pick at least one character that no one else has seen use, maybe because it sucks. I don't know, we'll have to see. I doubt it. They're probably pretty well balanced. And we're going to get started right away. Like I said, this is not going to be a tutorial. In other words, I'm not going to walk you through all the instructions prior to starting to play. You know, I've done that in the past. I'm not going to do it in this particular playthrough. This is also going to be a long playthrough because I plan to go through a lot of the game before we stop. So I'll probably have some other games running during this one, though this is a beefy beast of a game and it takes up a lot of space. So we'll see how this goes. So get ready. I hope you're ready to enjoy our venture, our journey into the dreamscapes of Etherfields. I am going to go over just a little bit of setup because it's actually part of how you get the game started. And then we're going to start to play. The first thing I'm going to do is show you our characters that we'll be using. I'll tell you just a little bit about how their mechanics work. And then we're going to look at the setup of the board and get ready with our very first tutorial walk through the dreamlands of Etherfields. So let's do it. Let's get ready and let's go. All right, our first character here is going to be our free spirit. Now, you've probably seen this character used several times. However, I just like the character enough where I wanted to make sure we used her. She's a neat character, really interesting. These boards actually don't have a tremendous amount of value. They're more aesthetic than anything else. Even though they do tell you where things need to go, you don't need them. And this wonderful and beautiful first player token that shows the masks on it is also not that helpful because the turns are rather fluid. Even though we do have a first player, they will go first. They can take turns in and out, swap back and forth. It's really quite fluid in the gameplay. We're going to be playing this whole scenario with two characters, at least for now. That could change. We could add on a character. We could change a character. It's pretty interesting how that can work later on down the road. This is an adventure. It takes us through a narrative that leads to a place of interest that tells a story, unfolding really interesting story. So this is our deck of cards. Now initially we're going to draw 4 cards. This is where our deck goes. This is where our discard pile goes. And then right here are some progress cards. We'll talk about how those work as we play. One of the things I do really like about these cards, the character decks, is they kind of serve a dual purpose. So while each of the cards on the other side have some kind of action or something that you can do with them or resources you can gain, the back of the card also gives you something you can do. You can play the top action off the card. It doesn't cost you anything, so it's pretty interesting, but it's nothing's free, right? So you have to spend tokens and that to be able to do things. And we'll see how that goes as we play along with the free spirit. At first, these are just off to the side. We don't actually have any of them. There's also an action card list, which I will refer to frequently. I'm just going to leave one of those on the table for us. And that's basically, like I said, I'm not going to go into the whole rules section. You'll see it as we play out. But that's going to be one of our first characters. And frankly, I don't know much about these characters. I've kept a lot of this a mystery to me because I want the story to unfold in such a way that it's exciting for both of us to watch and observe. Now, I did see a little bit about how you get going with the tutorial, but I really stopped there because I didn't want to know too much. By the way, the heavy rules in the game, this is a very deep game. This is not if you're trying to introduce people to gaming, don't do it with this game. If you have some people that are experienced enough, they've seen some games, and they want to try something more involved, this could be very cool. There's some other games I might recommend that get you down this path to start with that might get you there faster, that are a little less complicated but drive the narrative, and that would help you bridge the gap between like there and here. Anyway, our other character. Our other character is going to be the specialist. Now this one I haven't seen much of anything when I flip through playthroughs. I haven't seen much of the specialist, and you can see also that he does have a card. It does cost 3. Now I'm going to botch. I'm going to say red, yellow, and green, but I think it's there are. I want to try and remember the types of resources that there are. I know the red is wrath. I think the yellow is oh, they're all called intent, but I got to remember what they actually are because I'm going to forget them over and over again until I get them down in my mind. But they are basically the resources that you have to spend to do things, to take actions in the game. And I'm just glancing through the thing to see if I can see where it just shows you at a glance what those are. The intent tokens, yeah. Oh well, we're going to figure it out, but I know it's wrath. Can't believe I'm blanking out on that. That's just crazy. I'm going to pause for just a second so I can tell you what they are. Okay, the 3 resources are awareness, cunning, and wrath. Awareness is green, cunning is yellow, and red is wrath. As you can see, this needs a certain amount of awareness to be able to use the top ability of this card, which is to discard this and unflip any card of any dreamer within range. Unflip means that you get to flip it back into being able to be used, like it is used as an active progress card, for example. So anyway, that's some of the cool things. These dice will also come into effect. We'll talk about those later. Now let's go take a look at where we're going to start, because this is a tutorial mission, and it's going to get us going, but we're going to go way beyond the tutorial mission in this playthrough. Now again, this isn't instructional, so I'm not going to tell you where to go find all these things, but this is our very first getting started dream. It says, gate to your first dream before it started. And there's some flavor text on here. I don't know. Let me just make sure you can angle it so you can see it. It says, what is this strange world? Hint, it will be easy, simple, and short. No puzzles, no challenges, just a quick basic training and a bit of story. So that's what it says on there. And there's going to be a lot more reading in this game. There's plenty of story to tell. And again, this, I'm reminding you one more time. This is the last time I'm going to remind you. Spoiler filled. You're going to be spoiled if you watch this. Now, normally we would have districts and enter costs, but this is the basic one, so we don't have any of that. And then it says, set up, take all the IO1 secret cards and this tile, reveal the setup tile. We've done that. You don't have to have any masks or items yet. We're going to have a turn deck of 12. We've done that. And we go to this introduction, 450, which we're going to do just in a moment. But I did want to show you that I do have the deck of all the IO1 cards here that are ready for us to play. Got them in a slot on the board. This has a little, I have this in a little space on the board as well. We'll take a look at that later. Oh, and on the other side, it does show us some things as well, like our goal, which should be helpful for you to know. Learn the basics of the game. That's our goal. Our goal here. Special rules. If any dreamer dies in this dream, resolve secret 922. If we run out of turns, we resolve secret 425. Hopefully we won't do any of those because I am an experienced gamer, so I hope I don't botch it completely. That is our turn deck, and I'm not going to cover what all the stuff is on it. We'll go through that as we play. But that turn deck, a turn order deck, is going to be where we run out of stuff to do. And so I think the first thing we're going to do now is we're going to go read the story setup, and then we're going to look and see where our characters have landed in the dream world. Abyss, a dark, cold rift. We crawl out from it. We're not sure. We don't remember. Where are we? We knew that a moment ago. Now all is gone. Our mission is to go. Where? Maybe here, wherever we are. And more importantly, who are we? Something went wrong. Or rather, terrible. The memory disappears like smoke blown away by a gale. Like a vision of a dream just after waking up. We have equipment with us, but for what? Everything works differently here. Breaks down, turns into scrap at a moment's notice. If we lose sight of something for a while, it changes immediately. We hear birds. We smell wet earth. Like after the ruin. Petrichor, you recall the curious name of this scent. We We wandered through a maze of forest paths. But we're still in the woods, probably for a very long time. Dirty, torn clothes, sore use muscles, hunger, and fear. Something wanted to catch us. We barely escaped. We have to get to some gate. Fog rises from the streaming earth. Golden rays of the setting sun shine behind the trees. It's getting cold finally. We reach a lee in front of a rock with massive gates. The gates are closed. There are 3 locks, each with a symbol identical to the pedestals next to it. A leaf, a wave, a padlock. A small tree grows on the first pedestal. A large padlock is attached to the second one. On the third is a stone ewer from which water flows. It seems too simple. But well, maybe some things might be actually simple. Maybe the beginnings are always the simplest. Let's practice the basics then. This is the start of a dream. Place your dreamers in the space with the cyclone. We've done that. When it straddles the space, it means we can pick the 2 spaces on either side of it. And that's true of any symbol. If it's in the middle, it just affects those spaces right there. There are 2 spaces, so you may choose freely. There won't be much going on for now, and the turn cards will be used only to count turns, which in this dream that uses movement or performs morphing basic special actions, the dreamscape phase will be empty. Let's look around. You see 3 pedestals. We're going to move the character out of the way so you can see. There's one here with the water. I don't know how well you can see them. There's one here with the tree growing, the roots in the tree growing up over the pedestal, and there's the one with the giant lock right here. Okay. On each one, you will practice different actions. The green one is a simple action with a cost of 6. The yellow one, 6 green, which is whatever I said it was before. It is awareness, so 6 awareness. The next one is the yellow is an action for 3, but you have to pay it as many times as the number of dreamers. What is he talking about in here? Well, it says right here, now that little red symbol, we'll get to that in a minute. See, it says 3 has the symbol for yellow and then times players. So we can do this in installments, but we have to pay a total of 6 because we're playing 2 characters. And the yellow is cunning. So cunning is what we have to use to do this one with the water and the fountain. And then it says, okay, I'm going to backtrack just a bit. Yellow is an action for 3, but you have to pay it as many times as the number of dreamers. And the red is an assault action with a cost of 6. The assault action might be performed in assault range. The base range is 1, which means an adjacent space. So we don't have to be in a space to attack that, to solve that one. We have to assault that lock and break it open, basically. Additionally, the actions on the yellow and red pedestals have a red stop icon, which means that they are 1 use only. When performed, place a red token on them to mark that they are no longer available. Look again at the action in the lower left-hand corner of the A2 tile. Gain 1 gem. That's here, just so we can keep on there, right there. Gain 1 gem for 1 cunning. There aren't any limits to how many times you may perform it. Treat yourself to all of these gems. Discard a card with 1 or more cunning intent to gain 1 gem. Remember that the intent surplus is lost. What are gems for? You may use them to reroll any dice. For now, they aren't that useful, but the time will come. In the lower right-hand corner, there is a free action with a cost of 0. You only have to be in the space to use it. Also remember, that's this action here. It says try to open the door. Well, my gamer sense tells me, and I've seen a little bit enough to know, we probably have to do these other things before we can open that door. Just guessing. Also remember that in order to use any map action, you have to be in the space. Contact assault actions are the exceptions. There's also a wall. That's this thorny thing right here. We can't pass through it. Note that you can't move through a wall or measure range through it. It's an impassable barrier. Now, the first turn begins. Draw 4 cards and do something. And that's how our game is going to begin. So, we have found ourselves in this, coming out of this forest here, into this area with these 3 pedestals. The first pedestal has like an urn or ewer with the flowing water. The second one has the tree growing on the pedestal, and the third one has the big red padlock on it. We have to try and deal with those before we can do much else. Let's go draw our cards and see what we have available to us in our first turns. Okay, so we're going to get our free spirits deck going. We're going to draw 4 cards, and those now you can have up to 6 cards. So when you draw up later, you're always going to draw up to 4 cards, up to 6. It's kind of a weird mechanic, but it makes sense. So if you have 3 cards, you can draw 3 more. If you have 1 card, you can only draw 4 more. Okay, and if that doesn't get you to 6, well, then it doesn't. But that's the way it works. So there's 1, just to give us a good range. I'm going to keep cutting them for a moment until we get this 3, and then just randomizing this as much as possible to give us the most random possible starting cards. Let's see what we got here. We have, now I'm going to go over the cards specifically. We have hesitation. Now hesitation has a lot of things on it. That's a good one to come out first. That's pretty good. Now we're going to ignore this right now. This is if we wanted to purchase this card with Ether, which is another resource we have in the game that we won't see for a while. Now, this card can either, well, generate us 1 wrath or 1 cunning. Sorry, the green, I was saying the green was cunning. The green is awareness. I will get this down. So 1 wrath or 1 cunning. It also has an action. This lightning bolt means it can be played out of turn. So I can play it on any turn, any character's turn. I can play it at any moment. That's basically what that means. There's 2 states. One is played on your turn. One's played out, can be played anytime. That means played anytime. This means that it doesn't cost us anything to do this, but we can seal this card to gain 3 of any of the resources. Now sealing means instead of discarding it, we're going to flip it over, and it's going to be sealed out of our hand until such time we get some mechanic that allows us to unseal the card. So when we reshuffle our deck, that will not go back into our deck. So this is something you have to really weigh out whether or not you want to do. Anyway, that is the hesitation card. It says someone has taken the risk if we want to get out of this alive. Oh, someone has to take the risk if we want to get out of this alive. And the artwork is beautiful, by the way. Just love it. Okay. Next up, we have a thoughtful moment. Again, this would cost us 1 if we were needing to purchase this, but we don't have to. It is giving us 2 awareness or 1 cunning as a resource. And it says thoughtful moment. It also has another thing we can do. We can seal this card to block any 1 step on the current turn card. That may come in useful for us at some point. It's not useful to us now. And again, it doesn't cost anything. It says I have to sort out a few things, and you can see that her head is open and she's sorting out things out of her head. It's pretty cool. Next up, inner light. So this will generate 2 awareness for us. Would cost us 2 to purchase. That means it's probably pretty good otherwise. Inner light says hope can be as bright as the sun. We can place a light marker. That means daytime marker. It turns the tile into day. That may matter. It may not matter. Token in any space. It is active until the end of this turn, or we can seal this card to discard 1 morphing. You'll see what morphings are. Things that can happen to creatures in the dream realm that make them more powerful. Okay. And then, last but not least, we have slap. We're just going to slap somebody for 1 cunning. Yeah, no, 1 awareness or 2 wrath. 1 awareness or 2 wrath. Again, this can be used anytime. It's got a cost of 0, and any dreamer may re-roll the die. So we can just wham, here, go re-roll this die. Slap. Let me fix your face. Okay, fair enough. Let's see what the specialist is going to get now. Okay, let's go. We got this going on right here. I'm going to shuffle it up and just take a card. I did shuffle these, but I just want to make sure that we randomize as much as possible, especially at the beginning. And there's our 4 cards, shuffled up pretty nicely. There we go. Let's see what we get. The first one is going to be Builder. Now, I don't know anything. I've seen a little bit about the Free Spirit. I don't know anything about this guy, so we'll see what this does. That would be an expensive card. This is also a progress card. Now, the other ones I showed you so far have not been. What this means is that I can place this card for 4 cunning. And that, when I say place it, it means it would go down here, would not go in the discard pile, and I'd be able to use its ability of builder. Or I can use it just to give me 2 cunning. But it says builder. Give me the doodad, 2 thingies, and of course the widget. This also has a lightning bolt and a 0 cost, so we can use this anytime basically. The limit of your active progress cards is increased by 2. We'll see what that means later. Each time after reshuffling your influence deck, you may discard the 3 top cards to place 1 charge. Use these tokens, these clear tokens, on your shotgun or steam bomb card, or to gain 1 gem. Well, okay, that might be interesting. That we don't have any of those right now, so we'll see if those come out. We got a slap. We already know what that does. We've already gone through it. We've got mechanical shotgun. Well, there you go. This is also a progress card that requires 4 wrath to place, or generates a wrath. Discard 1 charge from this card, or flip this card to gain 1 cunning or 1 wrath. Or it says, I got a +1 of 1 wrath, 1 progress. I think that is. I don't know. We'll look at that up. If this is an assault action, increase its range up to 3. Wow, so we can shoot from 3 away. That's pretty interesting. And last but not least, we have so many possibilities, which simply gives us 1 of the resources we need. So in the beginning, these progress cards aren't going to be that valuable to us because they don't. We don't have to fight anything. We don't have to do anything. I do need to look up that symbol. By the way, there is a symbol glossary on the back of the book, in the rule book, and it tells you what everything is. So that means a number of cunnings placed on this card. That's what that symbol means on the shotgun. So it says, so based on discard a charge from this card or flip the card to gain a number of 1 plus the number of cunning in wrath. So I'm not sure how that works. We're going to have to see how that plays out. We'll see. I haven't used this, so I don't know, but that's what that symbol means. And how do I know that? Because I am looking right here. It says right here, number of cunning placed progress cards. Oh, placed progress cards. So as I have more cunning placed progress cards, that is going to become more powerful. But again, this isn't really going to be very useful for us in these first turns. Now I did give this free spirit the first turn marker, so I think for the very first turn we will use the free spirit, see what we can do. So this is the free spirit right here. Here's her mini, and these are sun-dropped painted, so they look really, really cool. Look, even the base is super highly detailed, but this is her miniature. She is here with this fountain. Now this is the one where we need to place 6 cunning on this to be able to finish it off, and then it would give us the ability to use that altar. Now I can currently see that I have only 2 cunning available to me. I could seal this card, but that seems like a scary prospect for me. I could seal this 1 card and get that one activation on it. Now, we get to continue to go back and forth taking actions until we've run out of cards or decide to stop. So there's a lot of great options for us there. We'll primarily be using these for taking care of these things right here, right? So anyway, my hesitation was I wanted to show you something, actually. So one thing we can do is move. So for example, I can use a card to move. For example, I can use this hesitation to move 1, and it gives me 1 the wrath or 1 something else. Now there's also a thing, I may demonstrate this right now, and hopefully we get lucky, because I think we're going to try and solve this big one here right now. So we're going to use this one. We're going to use that aligned with this so that we can move. Okay, and we're going to move to this one with the tree. We're going to leave this one alone for the moment because I don't have the ability to get to it. So we have used this card. This will go in our discard pile. Now you can see that we don't quite have enough. We don't have 6. Remember, this requires 6. Okay, we have 5. 2, 4, 5. So I can use all 3 of these to generate the resources, and then I can bring in the luck die. Now, once per turn, you can roll the luck die. Okay, it says right here, I'll show you on this cheat sheet, the cheat card. It says right here, Dreamers boosting your intent right there. X on the luck die, discard 1 or seal 3 cards. So we can discard a Aether, we can seal 3 cards, or we can suffer 1 stress. That's damage. If we get to 8 damage, we lose. Okay, but there's also all these other symbols on it. So hopefully we just get lucky. I just need 1. We got 3. That was good. So we succeeded at this event here. So we have basically used enough of our awareness action to determine what is happening here, and that is going to take us to checking the green altar secret 332. So let's take a look at that. Well, I got a little out of sequence here. Let's read this. I actually did the event before I needed to. But we'll read this. You may try to gain one token here, advancement token. It is required to open the gate, and you'll learn how to use the luck die and how to influence its results. Well, we already did this, so I'm going to read it anyway. So let's begin. Roll the luck die. An X or a minus, nothing. Nothing. Doesn't mean you paid for the action, but you didn't gain anything. Unfortunately, that's how it is. But if you have any gems, you may discard one of them to re-roll the die. And you may do it as many times as you want. If you have that many gems, of course. If you don't have any, too bad. It's better to gain some gems before going back here to check the green alter action and spend 6 again to use it. But we already did. So if you get a 1, 2, or 3, it works. Place 1 token on the dream gate tile and then block the action. See, there wasn't a block action here, but sometimes it's hidden inside the action. Many additional effects may take effect inside the script. Okay, so basically I need to read those before we do them, but that's okay. A little out of order, but the result was the same. So it says to take one of these tokens here, we're going to place it on this action, and we're going to place one of these clear gems on there to show that we have completed it. There we go. And now, I did a little out of sequence. Technically, I should have had him go in between the movement, but it really doesn't matter that much. Like I said, the actions can be quite fluid. So we have basically taken all of her actions. Now we're going to go on to the specialist. Now, just for reference, I do have this tile specifically set up on the A2. So there's A3, A1 right there. So it's very important that that be the way they are. Otherwise, I would orient it differently so you could see it from a different angle. But the way I have the board laid out, this is how we're looking at it. Could put a camera right there, but I think you get the idea. All right, so we're here. Now, I'm trying to figure out what the heck he's going to do because he doesn't have enough to do any of these things. Well, he does, but there's 2 ways I can move. I can also, because I kind of want to move him up to here, and he could start working on this thing here. We'll take a look at it when we get there, but there's another way to move, and that is through the use of time, but I don't think I can do that yet. I'm not. I guess maybe I'm not allowed to do that yet. I think I can by using an hour off the hour clock. Now we have a clock, and I can move 1 using an hour. That's a normal action. I'm still thinking I can do it, but here it just says use 1 cunning to move a space. It says effort. We can lose X hours to move a space, so we can do it once per turn. We're going to do that. Now let me show you what that means. This here is our clock, so we're going to use 1 hour for the specialist to move into a space without using any of his cards, because I want to show you something on the map tile that we're on that might be important. It's scaring me a little bit, making me want to get to these alter actions very quickly. And that is what it says on this tile. It says, hurry, hurry, something wicked this way comes. That's making me nervous. However, I do think we want to get a gem too, so let's see what we can do here. So I have the movement covered by an hour. We'll do that in a moment. I need these 2 cards in order to get the first part of this action done with the ewer and the water. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to burn this card first, okay, at 1 to gain us a gem. Okay, this card will stay in my hand because I don't have any real use for it at the moment. It's the mechanical shotgun, and I don't have the four wrath to place it into play, so we probably won't place these into play right away. Then I use the hour to move, so I gain 1 gem for a reroll if I need it. So we have that in hand. I'm going to move here using the hour that we spent, and then I'm going to use this, and this, the 2 cunning symbols to do this. But I think we have to read this first, like the last time. It says check the yellow altar 159. So let's do that before we take the action, just so I know we're doing it right. Just to make sure, did you multiply the cost by the number of dreamers? X icon means that the cost must be paid as many times as the number of dreamers to perform this action. Just making sure, as those are your beginnings. If you're playing alone, this costs you 3 times 1, so it's still 3. Nothing changes. If there are 2 more, the cost is doubled. It's now 6. If 3 costs 9, and so on and so on. Additionally, as this is a gradual action, you may pay the cost in steps. You don't have to pay it all at once. Of course, if you have enough intent, you may do it and use this action. But if you don't have that much, but at least for the basic 1 cost, in this case, it's 3. You may pay it to place 1 progress token. We're going to do that. And that's what these are, these really nice plastic tokens for progress. We're going to place that here, meaning we have done the first step on that. We've paid 3 on there. Next to the action, it means it's paid once. When you or another dreamer pay the rest, then you can use this action. If you didn't make any mistakes and paid the right cost, place 1. Okay, we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't completed it. After using the action, discard all of the progress tokens and place the used action, the red slash symbol, and the marker on it to say we've done it. We'll get there, and then it says the icon before the cost. Yeah, okay. So basically, we have 1 progress on this, but that's going to end where we're at. So we're going to have 1 card left in our hand. There's really nothing we can do with it, so we'll probably end our turn there, and I'll show you what that looks like. Now, if there were dream entities on the board, we would take that step first. There's a step between here and flipping the turn order card, but we haven't gotten there yet. So what this basically means now, again, for right now, we're going to ignore all the symbols on the turn order card. We're just going to flip one over, and that marks the end of the turn. Now, let's go back and start the next. So the next part would be we would go back to our characters, and again, we kind of went, as we go through the turn order, the first thing is the draw step. So we're going to have to go draw up some new cards. So remember that she used, I'm going to pull this over here just a little bit so we don't get it mixed up. She used all of her cards in that action, so that's it for her. She doesn't have anything in hand, which means she's going to draw 4 total cards. We're going to get Secret Door. Place 1 spirit token on your dreamer board. Additionally, if all players agree, you may end this dream slumber. Each dreamer suffers. We're not going to do that, so we'll probably just use it for this. But that is a free action. Would cost us 2 to purchase. The next card is going to be World Shaper. This is kind of cool. Gives us 2 green, 2 awareness. Cost 0. It says, let's change this place. And for this, we can do this action too. Place your personal token in any space on the dreamscape until the end of this turn. Treat this token as one of the icons below. Oh wow, you can treat it as a lot of different things. Again, not that useful right now, but that's cool. We'll be sure to use it later. Flashback. Again, 1 green. We need yellow. Flashback. A memory once forgotten. Place 1 spirit token on your dream board, or seal this card to draw 1 plus green. The awareness symbols. Top cards from your discard pile. Okay, so that's these. If there's a top card, so if there was a 2, it would be 2, but that's okay. And then we get 1 more. It's a progress card. We can use 4 cunning to place it. This is 2 cunning. This is Pathfinder. This one's actually really good. I may want to get this one out if I can. I can't use it to pay for itself, so I don't really have a way to pay for it. That's too bad. We might have to keep a hold of this one. But it does give us 4 yellow, 4 awareness, so we can finish off that other dream. I think we want to do that. I don't know. Anyway, but this says you can move diagonally, because remember, you can't move diagonally in this game. I didn't say that, but you can only move orthogonally. During the current move action, then roll the luck die. If you get an X, you flip the card. Otherwise, you can keep doing that. You can keep moving in that direction. That is the Free Spirits cards. Now remember, we still had a card in hand with our specialist, and these are the cards that he discarded. They're going to go right here. So we're going to get to draw 4 more. The first one is to get the Pocket Ladder. That's got to be super cool. Just the sound of it. This game is so creative and innovative. I just love it. I can't wait to see how this plays out. Again, it's going to give us 2 awareness if we use it that way. At last, we found a way to do something. It can only be used in nighttime spaces, so that's important. We're not on a nighttime space now. It doesn't cost anything to play this, but you can place a ladder. Use your personal token in your space. Enter the dark room. See 1135B, dark room, the tile set next to the board, and place your dreamer in that space. So he's got a special tile he can go to if we do that. I don't know if we want to do. We're not going to do that now. That's for sure. Okay. Another so many possibilities. We've seen that one before, and we got a shining. We haven't seen this one before. Basically gives us 1 cunning. It doesn't cost anything. It says, oh look, a penny. If you are in a entity space, gain 1 gem. Well, that won't be too hard to figure out. We could probably play that. And then we get 1 more card, because remember, we started with 1 in our hand. We get to draw 4. We get another so many possibilities. I like that. That's great. Okay. And that is how we're going to end it for today, for this episode. We just got started. We were able to actually seal or activate one of the altars. We've got it we used our awareness to figure out how to activate it. That's the altar with the tree growing on it, up out of the altar. We also made some progress on the altar with the ewer and the water pouring out. So we've got a little bit going on there. This is all good stuff. We need to complete these to be able to get into that door. We're going to see how this plays out. I think that the person that's going to do a lot of our stuff for us right now is going to be the specialist. I wish there was a way to get this Pathfinder card out, but I don't see how. Anyway, we're going to figure this out. Let's go back to the board in the next episode. So the next episode we'll be continuing to figure out how to complete this altar. Again, this is just the first tile of hundreds and hundreds of tiles in the game. Pretty amazing. Here's where we stand right now. Now in the next episode, guys, I think I'm going to go quite a bit longer and see how much progress we can make in one episode where it makes sense. I don't like the episodes to ever be too long because I know you have lives. But if you're getting the chance to watch this, that's great. So anyway, here is I didn't really show you our specialist mini. There's his mini. He's got like this cog thing on the bottom of his base. Really just super cool miniatures. I love them. And I kind of gave myself a bit of a predicament. I probably should have had him come stay in this direction, but he's going to finish that off and keep moving down. For her, I kind of want to leave her there. Because he's going to have to take care of that for sure. I could go down and get some gems, I suppose. We'll have to see. We'll see how this plays out, because obviously I need a lot of red to get through this, and it has to be all in one shot. So that's going to take a bit. But remember, there is this zero action there, but I have a feeling that trying to open the door isn't going to help until we solve these other things. But we definitely probably want to get some more gems in our hands. So maybe I'll send her over to do that. We'll see in the next episode, guys. So I hope you're enjoying this the very start of Etherfields. This is a huge game. The tile artwork is beautiful. The game is just amazing, and its storytelling and narrative. I can't wait to get through this with you guys and see how it plays out for us. Anyway, talk to you in the next episode. Take care. This is slightly after Thanksgiving, so I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving, and I will see you next time. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.